Hello, welcome to my tutorial. In this video, I want to show you guys how to set up the Osmocom GSM stack with the URAN-1 board. This is a cheap $99 board. For me, it ships out of California, and right now it's the cheapest way, I believe, to run your own GSM base station. So I want to show you guys how to set up the Osmocom stack, because previously the only way to make this work was through this Ubuntu 2014 pre-built ISO from this website. And obviously it's been a while since then, and you'd have to dedicate a whole machine to run that, or start a virtual machine, which comes with its own problems. So it runs Ubuntu 2014, but also pre-installed is OpenBTS, which it works, but it's been a while since it's been updated, and the Osmocom stack is a lot better today. It's a lot more polished, it's a lot cleaner. And previously there was a method to use the transceiver part of this so you could run the rest of the Osmocom stack, but have the OpenBTS part to actually run the board on this Ubuntu 14. But then you also still had to have a separate system to run this, or a virtual machine. And yeah, I just want to show you guys how to run it on modern Ubuntu with the Osmocom stack. So let's get straight into this. I'm running a clean installation of Ubuntu 25, or it's running off a USB stick on one of my old computers. It's the try Ubuntu part of it. But there's nothing installed right now except SSH. So, and I'm just going to be showing you guys what to install, and I'll have all those commands in the description. Make sure you check the description before you follow what I do, because as time changes, I might add a couple notes in the description on what you should do instead. But you should just be able to copy and paste everything from the description in line by line and have it work. But let's start installing. Let me pull this up. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to install Osmocom's binary repository. What the heck? Didn't copy. Okay, just going to download their public key. You can build everything from source if you want. That's just a big waste of time since they have everything built for you for Ubuntu, unless you have some special case you need it for. I'll show you guys this. On their website, they get these instructions are on their website. So if you want to check the hash of this key, it should match up with the one on this page right here, binary packages. Looks like it does. So let's go ahead and install the key. And now we have to put Osmocom's repository in our sources. So you can just do that with this command right here. Make sure they have this listed on their website, but make sure you change this to whatever system you're using. So I'm using Ubuntu 25, so I'm going to do xubuntu _ 25.04. This might be a little different, but this should work for me. Move this over to your sources place, and then get rid of the public key. And let's update sources. Okay, now if you're on a normal machine, you should probably just do apt upgrade after this. But since I'm running this off a USB stick, I only have 1.4 gigabytes, 1.8. I'm not going to do that because I'm going to run out of space, but just run apt upgrade. It's probably good for your system. So after that, I'm just going to make a folder we're going to clone some stuff and then build it. I'm going to make a folder for that stuff. Just go into that folder. And before we do anything, I have a big list of packages and stuff you need to get. Should be just these for now, but again, check your description, see if this thing has changed at all before you run this. Should be about a gigabyte in total. Okay, and then after that, for one of the things we're building, it's pretty old. We need to install Python 2.7, or just Python 2. And you can't get that normally through the apt. You have to pull it from the old Ubuntu sources. That should be in the description as well. and then should get these files, and we're gonna install them. And we can uninstall Python too afterwards if you want. I'll show you how to do that. Okay, and then I'm just gonna get rid of these files we downloaded. rmstar.deb will get rid of all these .deb. Yep, they're gone. Okay. First thing we have to download from GitHub is something called libusrp. Since this board is an old USRP1 clone, we need this to build the transceiver part, which is like it's what runs the board on the Osmocom stack. So we're just gonna do git clone dep1. Make sure you don't miss branch 3.4.2, otherwise you'll have to install some weird stuff. Should download it. This is fine. You can ignore this. Let's go into, we clone this repository, libusrp. Go into it. And we're going to run auto reconf -i. Okay, once that's done, you're going to run this line right here. Make sure you have these CXX flags and Python in here. Otherwise, you'll get compiler errors. Okay, once that's done, we can go ahead and make it. So we're going to do make -j cache nproc. This will just make it a little bit faster. This is just telling your Ubuntu to use all the processors it has to build this. Okay, no errors here, so we can do sudo make install. Okay, then sudo ldconfig -i. And then once that's done, we can go out of libusrp. Now, I'm just going to delete Python too, because I don't need it. So it's just the same command. Instead of install, you do purge for the Python. Yes. Okay, now I need to install the firmware for the URAN-1. This doesn't come with libusrp because it errors when you try to build it. You can install Ubuntu 2012 and try to build Genie Radio yourself and get this file, but it's only 16 kilobytes. So I just made a little repository that'll install it for you. So you just go cd uran1 fw. You don't have to run this, but you can see this is the firmware file, and I just have a little script file that installs it to the right place. So you're gonna do chmod +x install.sh. This is just so you can run this file, because it won't work otherwise. You see you can run it now, it's green. And then you do sudo /install.sh. And then you can check. It should have gone to user local share usrp rev4. Yeah, and you can see that file's in here now. So that's good. And then we can go out to cd .. Okay, now I need to build osmo-trx. This is the part that runs the board, the URAN-1. So I'm going to do, when you run this, make sure you put a certain tag in it or branch, because sometimes if you just clone it straight from the master, there's like bugs you'll get sometimes. So what you can do is you can go to the GitHub page yourself, click on this. So once you're in the GitHub page, you click this thing right here, branches, click tags, go past the Fairwaves part, and see what this newest one is, and that's the one you want to get. That's the latest stable one. So I have, for me, it's 1.7.1 right now. So I'm going to do --branch 1.7.1 for this. And then go into it. Auto reconf -i. Now, when you do /configure, this is the next command. Don't miss these two flags. You do --/ with USRP1 and --/ with single DB. This single DB thing, single daughter board, it's a specific thing about the board, about the URAN-1. Not really sure, but it won't run right if you don't have that in there. Okay, then we can do make -j nproc. Again, this just speeds it up a little bit using all your processor power. Okay, no errors here, so we can do sudo make sudo make install. sudo ldconfig -i. I don't actually know what that does, to be honest, but they have it in the list to build it of commands. And then we can go out of this. So now we should have, you can check this executable here, osmo-trx usrp1, and looks like it found it, so we have it. What I want to show you guys how to do is how to turn this into a service. So that means you can run it in the background without having to have a whole window to run it. I feel like when you built it, it used to automatically install the service, but let me show you this. But now when I build it, it looks like the service isn't there. So I'll just show you guys how to make the service run for yourselves. So you're going to want to do sudo cp osmo-trx /contrib/system d /osmo-trx usrp1.service. Yeah, you can press tab, see it's a real file. And you're going to want to put that in /lib/systemd/system. And then there's a couple things we need to change in this file. I'll just show you really quick. So you're going to do sudo nano /lib/systemd/system/ and that file we just copied over, osmo-trx usrp1.service. So we're going to want to do a couple things. We're going to want to take these two lines out right here, user equals Osmocom and group equals Osmocom. I guess it just needs some special permissions to load the file through USB to the board. And taking those lines out just lets it run as the super user by default. So take those out. And then I don't know if you remember, but when I did that which command and it showed me that I had this file right here, it wasn't in user/bin, it was in user/local/bin. So I'm just going to put a local in there. And then also I'm going to take out this little line. Just go here and take out the -usrp1, just so it's a little bit easier to open the file because it has a shorter name when you edit it. So that should be good. You're going to do Control-O, Enter to save it, and Control-X to go out. Okay, last thing we're going to do is we need to install the rest of the Osmocom stack. Good thing is we don't have to build this stuff because we added the repository. So we're going to need BTS TRX, BSC, MSC, STP, and Osmo HLR. Okay, if you get an error when you run this with Osmo MSC, I'm pretty sure they're going to fix this in the future. I'll tell them about this after I upload this. But it looks like right now it's broken when you try to install it. So I'm going to show you guys really quick how to build this from source. But if you don't get this error, you can just run this command normally. And I'll put a timestamp to skip ahead to if you don't need to do this. Okay, so to build this, we're just going to add these packages just so it just needs these to build it. Okay, then we're going to download the code for this, git clone. And again, you should check the latest version of this. So if I go over to GitHub and go, let's go to the Osmo, this is MSC, right? And then you can check tags, go down to just the normal numbers. And it looks like 1.14 is the latest version. So I'm just going to do --branch 1.14.0. Download that. Go into it. Auto reconf -i. And then we're going to configure, /configure. We're going to do make -j cache in proc. And then sudo make install. Sudo ldconfig -i. And we can go out of that. And again, I want to make the service for this so I don't have to run it in a whole window. I'm going to check and see if I have it. Just do status osmo msc. Looks like it's not here. So to make that service, it's mostly the same process. You're going to do sudo cp osmo-msc slash contrib slash systemd slash osmo-msc.service. We're going to put that in lib systemd slash system. And then remember, since it puts it in a directory that's not just slash user, that's not just slash user slash bin, you can check where it is. Just do osmo-msc. We can see it's user slash local slash bin. So we're just going to need to edit that one line in there. So you do sudo nano slash lib slash systemd slash system slash osmo-msc dot service. And then right here, we're just going to change this to slash user slash local slash bin. Control O, enter, Control X. And then we should be able to install the rest of the components. Just take out MSC so it doesn't error on you. Okay, and then once we have those, we should get this new folder called slash etc slash osmocom. Yeah, and you can see it has these default configuration files in there, but we need to get the configuration files for the ones we built, which is osmo-trx, and if you had to, osmo-msc. So to do that, we're just going to go back to GitHub on osmo-trx, and then you can find the file in doc examples trxuhd and get the one that says USRP. And then you're just going to click raw, copy this link right here, and just download it into this folder. Make sure you do sudo, it'll give you an error. And then I'm going to rename this to just osmo-trx.cfg, just so it's easier to type out. So you can just do sudo mv osmo-trx USRP underscore v200, and then do osmo-trx.cfg. Ooh, that is -cfg. Hold on. Okay, and then we should have that file now. Yep. And then I'm just going to download this osmo-msc file, but if you already have it, and you type ls and you see osmo-msc.cfg, then you do not need to do this. Let's just go back. Let's go to osmo-msc doc, not manuals, examples, MSC. Let's get this normal one right here. So let's not download it. Raw, and get this link, sudo wget, just grab that. So we should have all these files right here. And before we start it up, there's just a couple of changes we need to make. First one's going to be an osmo-trx.cfg, so just do sudo nano osmo-trx.cfg. And you need to change these to 1. This is a limitation of the board. I guess when you run this at 4, it's just not fast enough to send back all those samples and process them with that URAN-1 board. So set these to 1. This also means you can't run Edge on your board, but you can still run GPRS. So just change TX-SPS to 1, RX-SPS to 1, do Control O, enter, Control X. Next, let's edit osmo bts-trx.cfg. Okay, and while we're in here, we're going to need to change 2 things. Under this instance 0, you're going to drop a line, do 2 spaces, and do osmo trx tx attenuation 40. This is just going to turn the transmit power of the board down way low, so you're not blasting the spectrum, I guess. And then I'm going to change this to GSM 900. I'll show you guys why later. You might not have to do this, but yeah. So Control O, enter, Control X. So next we're going to do osmo bsc.cfg, sudo nano. You can ignore this stuff for right now. I'll talk about this later, I guess at least some of it. But right now, depending on what board you have, I only have the 900 megahertz version, so I'm going to change this to GSM 900. And that means I'm also going to have to change this number, ARFCN. ARFCN is the actual frequency it runs on when it runs the station. So I'll show you this table right here. So I'm on 900. And there's a small overlap of the ISM band, if you're in America, between 928 and here, just for these, like, I don't know, 15 channels. I'd say if you want to lower the chances of the FCC getting mad at you, you use any of these channels in the 900 band, because this is actually an overlap with the ISM band. But also when your phone talks back to it, this is out in the uplink. This is outside unlicensed frequencies, so. And obviously, I'd say ensure you have the right license to use these frequencies. But since you're watching this video, you're trying to set up a $99 board, so I'm going to guess you don't. It's okay though. I don't have a license either, and nothing's happened to me yet. I'll just say if you can't get signal outside your house, you're probably fine. Anyways, I'm just going to do right at the edge, 988 at 927.8 megahertz. So ARFCN, I'm going to put 988. You just change this to 100. And change this to, actually no, just keep it at 20. That should be good for now. Control O, enter, Control X. One more thing, we're gonna set up when your phone tries to hook up to it, it's gonna let it attach. It's gonna give it a phone number. That's managed by Osmo-HLR. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add this line that says, and keep in mind, you should not keep this line when you're running this. I'm only running this to let the phone hook up to the network. Then I'm going to turn it off because this is going to let anybody who sees it hook up to it and get a phone number. I'm going to put in this line. It is subscriber create on demand. Then you're going to set how long you want the phone number that it gets to be. So I'm just going to say 3 is the minimum. So let's do that. And then we're just going to do CS for now. That is circuit switch. So phone calls and texts. So again, don't run this, don't keep this on with this line. This is just to let the phone hook up to the network and get a phone number. Then later I'll show you how to take this out if I make another video. But yeah, so Control O, enter, Control X. And then we should be just about ready to run this. Okay, so we are about ready to start up the base station. You can see now I have 2 terminals open. The one on the right is just for visuals. I just want to show you guys something, but you can just follow what I'm doing over here on the left. What I'm going to do over here is I'm going to follow Osmo BSC. This is kind of like the brains of the base station almost. So I'm just going to follow the service. I'm going to do sudo journal CTL -f -u Osmo BSC. And I'm going to go ahead and restart all of our components with this command. So see, starting up over here. It's bootstrapping the base station. Now I'm going to go ahead and follow the transceiver part of this, so osmo-trx USRP1. We can see it's doing something with TX. So let's see if I can see the base station running. I have my RTL SDR attached, and it should be running on that frequency I set, that ARFCN. So let's just do this really quick. So we're running it on 928. What am I doing? 0.8. Wait, 927. Oh yeah, look at that. Remember, I set it to a low power, so it's not that strong. Or if I turn on that audio. That's the sound of GSM. Okay, so let's see if I can actually hook up to my base station. So I'll just put, so we can watch and see if it tries to hook up. See if we can look at what the phone sends out. So that's going to be on 882.8. It's just right around there. And let me turn on my camera. Okay. So I just have my iPhone 5 here. So I'm going to turn on the brightness. Okay, it doesn't look great, but oh, what the heck. All right. I'm going to put this over here and we can watch Osmo BSC right here. So it tries to hook up. So I'm going to turn it off of airplane mode. See if it finds it. Oh, look, doing something. And look at that. It's hooked up. I already tested hooking up to this, so I have the name loaded. You're probably going to see 101 in the corner or something like that. But let's see if we can find our phone number. So we're going to go, this is an Osmocom thing you can do. You're going to go star, hashtag 100, hashtag call. You can't even see that. But it says, your extension is 988. I don't know why this camera looks like that. Okay, I can't even change the settings now. Let's see if we can text ourselves. So go messages. Let's text 988. Say hello. And look at that. We get it back. All right, it's working. Okay, and to shut this down, I'm just going to go out of the follow mode. Put this back full. And I'm going to do sudo systemctl stop osmo-trx usrp1. And for some reason, sometimes it doesn't quit. You have to force it to quit by itself. So if this isn't working right here, what you can do, just Control C out of it. You're gonna do PS AUX straight. I think they call it the pipe. grep osmo-trx usrp1. So you can see it's still running right here through this. You might recognize this line. That's from our service file. We're just gonna stop and we're gonna do sudo kill -7. That'll force it 42292. And then we can see that it is shut down. I guess failed because we had to force it to stop. All right, the stack is set up and we tested it. In the future, I might make more videos on configuring the Osmocom stack a little bit more. There's some cool things you can do with it, but for now, that is setting it up on the URAN-1 board. Just a really basic setup. Thanks for watching and see ya.